Judgmental, playing God and praying God, painting metaphors and surmounting waste, and pleading help from a friend. Impressionable, between paranoia and perfectionism, the well-known cynicism, it doesn't matter how you feel, because it's fake in the end. Denial, without nutrients, you waste away, and if they see it as you see it, maybe somehow it is true. Destruction, breaking walls and carving stones that lead to pathways, that lead to walls, that lead to mazes away from you. Caution, don't proceed. You may succeed in destroying the innocence or ignorance you possess at the start. Why bother? When your friend is dying next to you, you plead the act of righteousness with a simple, bless her heart. If this is Christian, I envision that it is also very Christian when you drive her invalidity out of the educational system. Must have missed them, those warning signs that blatantly displayed. If it were for attention, then wouldn't she have stayed? Trigger warning, a cry for help is all it is. Living for months in isolation to work up the motivation to tell someone you're less than dead. Instead, you're met with endless consultation, from the counselor to the doctor, to the therapist, to the psychiatrist, to the mental hospital 20 minutes north with rooms of petrified children who were referred from the counselor to the doctor, to the therapist, to the psychiatrist. Swallow medicine like vitamins, keep you healthy and safe from serotonin levels dangerously low, along with your weight and your interest in anything but the preoccupying and mesmerizing topic of dying. Then spit out like the bitter resentment of friends without contact, and pills that make you gag at the fact that you are a walking abomination in this generation. The stigma, the satire, the irony of this all. Oh, how we allowed children to die because we weren't brave enough to call them out on their words, their actions, their trigger warning, cries for help. And don't they know that it's the finale? The hushed phrase we dance around because it's too shameful to be a martyr of your mental illness tallies on the walls of who makes it out cleansed, because if you take your own life, then you're surely condemned. Judgmental. They flock around her, with their gazes looking for traces of some fatal flaw, blind to the knowledge of a mind that feels it all. Impressionable. Sharing jokes like spreading diseases, so engrossed in a society that changes but remains constant for the outcast. Denial. There is no evidence that any events have morphed whom they once knew, but throwing in a jocular statement ought to break the awkward silence after their friends' intestines are spilled in front of them, because no, they are not capable of any other response to reality. You retain no formality for what you do not understand. Destruction. Don't bother tiptoeing now. The mother's throwing out belongings of her room, siblings lost in a sea of confusion while the father sleeps in the gloom. How did peace become synonymous with cease? And people turn so kindred to introspection after you've left them with ease. Even so, it lingers, that stigma of terms tossed around like toys for young children who have no idea the damage they invoke when they shatter an object. An object. A figure, for everyone to gawk at, to smirk at, to shame and tame, until it too has lost the will to hold itself upright, because it is enlightened to see that it is only a pawn in another's game. And when it's gone, the simple pawn, the king's horses and its men can't comprehend why it would cast itself off a wall. They blame it on insolence, ignorance, and in their mourning, trigger warning, feel guilt for not listening to the cry for help before the fall.